Last night was not ordinary, even if it appeared quiet and uneventful on the surface. Something deeper was taking place, beyond what your eyes could see and your ears could hear. While everything around you seemed still, your spirit was being stirred in a way that cannot be explained by logic alone. There was a shift, subtle yet powerful, moving through the very core of who you are. You may have gone to sleep carrying weight, questions, or even silent frustration, but something began to change in the unseen. There are moments in life when heaven intervenes quietly, without noise or spectacle, and this was one of those moments. Jesus saw everything that unfolded within you. Every hidden emotion you tried to suppress, every tear that never made it to the surface, every thought that kept circling in your mind when no one else was around. Nothing about your struggle went unnoticed. What you endured was acknowledged, not just as pain, but as perseverance. You were being watched over with understanding, not judgment. What you felt last night may have been difficult to describe. Perhaps it was a sense of restlessness, or a deep emotional release that didn't fully make sense at the time. Maybe it was an unusual calm that settled over you after a period of inner chaos. Whatever it was, it carried meaning. It was not random, and it was not without purpose. It was a turning point, the kind that does not always announce itself loudly, but leaves a lasting imprint on your spirit. You are not the same person you were before that moment. Even if everything looks the same on the outside, something within you has begun to realign. The weight you have been carrying is starting to shift. The confusion that once clouded your thoughts is beginning to lift, even if only slightly. There is a new awareness forming, a quiet strength rising that you may not fully recognize yet, but it is there. It is growing. This is what happens when you reach a point of endurance that heaven acknowledges. When you have carried enough, when you have stood strong long enough despite the pressure, there comes a moment where things begin to change. Not because everything around you suddenly becomes easy, but because something within you becomes stronger. You begin to see differently. You begin to feel differently. You begin to respond differently. Last night was a line drawn between who you have been and who you are becoming. It marked the end of one phase and the quiet beginning of another. You may not have all the answers right now, and that is okay. You are not meant to understand everything at once. What matters is that the shift has begun. You might notice today that certain thoughts no longer have the same hold on you. Certain fears may feel less powerful. Certain situations may not affect you the way they used to. This is not by accident. It is the result of what took place in the unseen, where transformation often begins before it becomes visible. Jesus did not just observe your struggle, he recognized your strength within it, and that recognition carries power. It brings alignment. It opens the door for clarity to enter your life in ways it hasn't before. You are stepping into a space where things will begin to make more sense, where your path will start to feel more defined. This moment matters more than you realize. It is not just another day following another night. It is the continuation of something that began in stillness, but will unfold in your waking life. You are moving forward now, whether you fully feel ready or not, because something greater has already begun within you. There are moments in life when truth does not arrive with noise or urgency, but instead settles quietly into your spirit, asking only that you pay attention. Last night carried that kind of moment. In the stillness, away from distractions and outside voices, something within you began to surface. It was not forced, and it was not chaotic. It was a calm, but undeniable realization that certain things are no longer what you once believed them to be. You may have felt it as a gentle awareness, or a subtle discomfort that refused to be ignored. It was the kind of feeling that doesn't shout, but lingers, asking you to look deeper. This was not confusion. It was clarity beginning to take shape. Jesus saw that moment when your spirit started to recognize what your mind had been trying to rationalize for so long. You were not being messled by your feelings, you were being guided into truth. For a long time, you may have given the benefit of the doubt, holding on to situations, people, or patterns because you believed they would change or improve. You may have convinced yourself to stay patient, to keep understanding, to keep hoping. But last night shifted something in that pattern. You began to see things without the filter you once used to soften reality. And while that can feel uncomfortable, it is also incredibly powerful. Truth has a way of setting you free, but before it frees you, it often reveals what has been holding you back. That is what you are experiencing now. You are seeing clearly, and clarity removes illusion. It removes excuses. It removes the narratives that once kept you stuck. What once seemed acceptable may no longer feel right. What once felt familiar may now feel misaligned. This is not loss. It is alignment taking place. There is a difference between being hurt and being awakened. What you felt last night was not just emotional discomfort. It was the beginning of awakening. You are being lifted into a higher level of awareness, where you can no longer ignore what your spirit is telling you. This is where discernment begins to grow. You are learning to trust what you sense, not just what you are told. You may also begin to notice that your tolerance for certain things is changing. Conversations that once felt normal may now feel draining. Environments that once felt comfortable may now feel heavy. This is not because you are becoming distant or difficult. It is because you are becoming aware. Awareness changes everything. It sharpens your ability to recognize what aligns with your purpose and what does not. Jesus saw the exact moment you stopped questioning your worth and started questioning what you were accepting. That shift is important. It moves you from a place of doubt into a place of authority over your own life. You are no longer asking whether you are enough. You are recognizing that not everything around you deserves access to you. This realization may require you to make decisions that are not easy. Letting go, setting boundaries, or stepping away from what no longer serves you can feel challenging. But this is part of your growth. You are not being asked to hold on to what drains you. You are being guided toward what strengthens you. As this clarity continues to unfold, you will begin to feel a different kind of peace. Not the kind that comes from avoiding truth, but the kind that comes from embracing it. It may not happen all at once, but it will grow steadily within you. You are learning to stand in truth without fear, to see without denial, and to move forward without hesitation. What was revealed in the silence was not meant to overwhelm you. It was meant to prepare you. You are stepping into a new level of understanding, one that will guide your decisions and shape your path moving forward. And even if it feels unfamiliar right now, it is leading you exactly where you are meant to go. Something within you shifted in a way that cannot be reversed. It did not come with a loud announcement or a dramatic moment that everyone could see, but it was real, and it was lasting. Last night, a deeper strength was activated inside you, one that had always been there, but had not yet fully risen to the surface. It was not given to you in that moment, it was revealed. It had been waiting for the right time, the right pressure, the right level of endurance to emerge. You may not have recognized it immediately, but there was a decision made within you, not necessarily in words but in feeling. A quiet resolve formed, a line drawn that said you could no longer remain where you were mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. You reached a point where continuing in the same patterns became more uncomfortable than stepping into the unknown. That is where real power begins. Jesus saw that moment clearly. The exact second your spirit chose growth over comfort, truth over illusion, and strength over fear. That choice matters more than you realize, because it marks the beginning of transformation that cannot be undone. Once you have seen clearly and felt that inner shift, you cannot return to who you used to be. You may try to revisit old habits or familiar patterns, but they will no longer fit the same way. This power that has been activated is not loud or forceful. It does not need to prove itself to anyone. It is steady, grounded, and deeply rooted in awareness. It shows up in the way you think, in the way you respond, and in the way you carry yourself. It is the kind of strength that allows you to pause instead of react, to observe instead of absorb, and to choose wisely instead of acting out of habit. You are beginning to trust yourself in a way you may not have before. There is a growing sense that you do not need constant validation or reassurance from others to know what is right for you. That inner voice is becoming clearer, and you are learning to listen to it without second-guessing. This is part of your power. It is not about controlling everything around you, but about being in control of how you move within it. You may also notice that certain fears are losing their hold on you. Things that once made you hesitate or doubt yourself may no longer carry the same weight. This does not mean fear disappears completely, but it no longer leads you. You are no longer making decisions based on what you are afraid of losing. Instead, you are beginning to move toward what aligns with your growth, even if it feels unfamiliar. Jesus did not just witness your struggle, he recognized your readiness. This activation did not happen randomly. It came after a period of testing, learning, and enduring. You were being prepared, even in moments when you felt lost or uncertain. Every challenge you faced contributed to this moment, building the strength that is now rising within you. With this power comes responsibility. You are no longer in a place where you can ignore what you know or pretend not to see what has been revealed to you. You are being called to act in alignment with this new awareness. That may mean setting boundaries you once avoided, walking away from situations you once tolerated, or stepping into opportunities you once felt unprepared for. The old version of you may have hesitated, waiting for the perfect moment, or seeking approval before moving forward. But that version is fading. The version of you that is emerging understands that growth does not wait for perfect conditions. It moves forward with trust, even when the path is not fully clear. This activation is not temporary. It is the beginning of a new way of being. You are becoming more grounded, more aware, and more aligned with who you truly are. And as this continues to unfold, you will realize that the power within you was never something you had to search for. It was always there, waiting for you to recognize it, step into it, and allow it to guide you forward. This is the moment where everything begins to take form in your life in a visible way. What started quietly within you is now preparing to express itself through your actions, your decisions, and the direction you choose to take moving forward. There is a difference between feeling a shift and living it, and right now, you are standing at that threshold. You are no longer being prepared, you are being positioned to move. Last night was not just about realization or activation, it was about alignment. It brought you into a space where your inner world is now catching up with the path that has been waiting for you. Jesus did not just witness your journey, he guided you into this moment with intention. Every delay, every unanswered question, every moment that felt like you were standing still was actually part of a greater process. You were being shaped, strengthened, and refined for what comes next. Now the time has come for you to respond, not out of pressure or fear, but from a place of clarity and inner certainty. You may not have every detail figured out, and that is not required of you. What matters is that you trust what has been placed within you. That quiet knowing, that sense of direction, that inner pull towards something greater is not there by accident. It is your guide. As you begin to move forward, you may notice that not everything or everyone will align with this new version of you. This is not something to fear or resist. Growth naturally creates separation. It does not mean that others are wrong or that you are better. It simply means that your paths are no longer the same. You are being called to walk a path that requires a different mindset, a different level of awareness, and a different kind of commitment. There may be moments where this feels uncomfortable. You may question whether you are making the right choices, especially when things begin to change around you. But understand this: discomfort is often a sign that you are stepping beyond what is familiar and into what is meant for you. Staying where you were would feel easier, but it would no longer feel right. That is the difference. Jesus saw your willingness to grow, even when it was difficult. That willingness is what brought you here. It is what will continue to carry you forward. You are not expected to be perfect, but you are expected to be honest with yourself and committed to your path. That means listening to what you have learned, applying what has been revealed to you, and trusting that each step you take is leading somewhere meaningful. You are no longer in a place of waiting for change. You are the one creating it through your choices. Every decision you make from this point forward has the power to shape your experience in a new way. This is where your responsibility becomes real. You have been given awareness, and now you are being asked to act on it. There is also a deeper level of confidence beginning to grow within you. Not the kind that seeks attention or approval, but the kind that is quiet and steady. It allows you to move forward without needing constant reassurance. It allows you to stand firm in your decisions, even when others may not understand them. This is part of your transformation. You are learning to trust yourself in alignment with what you know is right. This is the beginning of a new chapter, one where you are no longer guided by uncertainty, but by purpose. You are stepping into a role that requires courage, clarity, and consistency. It will not always be easy, but it will always be meaningful. And that is what sets this path apart. You are not alone in this journey. You are supported, guided, and seen every step of the way. Even in moments where you may feel unsure, there is something greater holding you steady. You are moving forward with intention now, not by accident. Rise of the Chosen is not just an idea, it is your reality unfolding. It begins with you deciding to step fully into who you are becoming. It begins with you choosing growth over comfort, truth over illusion, and purpose over fear. And as you continue on this path, you will come to understand that everything you went through was leading you here, to this exact moment where you finally rise and walk in the life that was always meant for you.